So this is it. This is the end of an era for a retail staple for over 70 years, Toys R Us. It's the last day of our local store. This is the store I worked at, where Pixel Dan worked at. I worked here for almost 10 years as a manager, and I wanted to put this video together to I wanted to walk around and kind of relive some memories of the store that I worked in, and even though it's empty now, it's bare, some shelves are already gone, very little product. I didn't do it to depress anyone or make anyone feel sad, but I wanted to relive part of my life that I probably never get to have it, be a part of again. So it's very sad for me, but let's go in and let's take a look, and I might tell a few stories and just give you a look at what the store looks like now. So let's take a look. It's weird to walk into a store that you've walked into a million times before as a child, as a teenager, as an adult coming to work, and as an adult shopping and seeing shapes left on the wall by things that have been pulled down to be sold. And then the going out of business signs, last days, everything must go, fixtures for sale. And then you walk through the front doors. And as somebody who spent so much time in this store, probably more so than others, almost 10 years of my adult life as an employee, and it really hits you that this is it. The gondolas are empty. There's missing gondolas. There's electrical boxes hanging from the ceiling. There's not a lot of product left. That's usually the case with closings like this. Once they start liquidating and they get to a certain price, stuff goes quick. And there probably wasn't enough product, honestly, on the shelves to last through the day. It was weird. The R-Zone, my old haven, the part of the store I ran for longer than any other that I ran. Light boxes destroyed from brittle age and being baked by the lights behind them. Just laid bare and empty. Video game shelves that I've seen empty before because I've moved them, but to see them this way and know that there's never going to be anything else there is weird. The movies, gone. It's just an odd feeling, really, to see these R-Zone signs that I helped put up when we first got them, that we stored backstock behind during Christmas, knowing that no one's taken those things. They're just going to get torn down and thrown away. It's really upsetting. And then the R-Zone closet, the backstock room. Once upon a time, you would take a ticket to the back door there and get a video game. And after they started not selling them by tickets, they started stocking all the backstock in here and in the glass cases in the R-Zone. Not a lot left in here. A lone, sad Disney Infinity displayer, all by its lonesome. And then I noticed as I was walking around, I looked up and I happened to see what was left of an Xbox 360 displayer. Just chilling. Just there. It was weird. The displays were still there. Nintendo and Microsoft hadn't come pick them up, and at this point, once the doors were locked, they're staying. And the liquidators will get rid of them. It's crazy. It's really crazy. I decided to step over to where the Legos once were. And while the light boxes for Legos and the Lego block sign is still there, of course the product and the shelves are long gone. I think that's a very striking image in of itself, as Lego was once one of the most popular brands at Toys R Us. And now everything's bare. The bike rack's empty. A lone rubber ball up on top where a teenager or a kid threw it. I put many a bikes together and put many a bikes on these racks. And it was strange to see them all empty. To walk down the aisle, to see the signage put up behind them. But no bikes. Nothing. Nothing but lights and empty space. Well, there was this electronic signage. These things never worked when we installed them. Let's see if it works. Okay, Toys R Us loading. Yeah. Oh, look, it looks like it works. Smart Trike. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that checks out. This is where we built so many bikes, Power Wheels, scooters. I mean, we put everything together back here. It was well used, as you can tell. But then to turn around to see the receiving department that I also ran for a while, just laid bare with no shelves. Nothing. These huge shelves that once stood, now gone. It's just really crazy, man. It's one of those things you just can't seem to grasp fully until you're standing there looking. And then walking around just at the remnants and the merchandise left on the floor back here that never made it out to be sold, and garbage on the floor. This dress tutu thing that still had its tags on it that was just chilling in a box. These Thomas the Tank Engine train fronts that were once in the Thomas the Tank Engine section. Just, they can't be sold, so they're just back here, and that's where they'll stay until someone takes them or throws them away. I found a Lego displayer. They're not a displayer, but a Lego fun play activity kind of thing that used to be on the floor. Still tons of Legos in it. I decided to leave my little mark here. It's not much, but it's something. Strange to see all those. All this remnants. And then I'll walk out this door that I walked through so many times. And nothing. Shelves for sale. Shelves all over the place. A lone displayer. Just chilling. And the fixture room back here. A strange place where we stored shelves and all sorts of peg hooks and such. And there's like a weird Batman sticker book in here, and all the peg hooks are gone, all the hooks are gone, there's just randomness. Some odds and ends from the summer displayers. Tickets still in the pouches. A ladder. A giant ladder, by the way. Some extra glass doors for the R-Zone that never got used. It's really weird to see this room empty, because this room used to be a pain in the butt to maneuver through. But something people probably don't know about the Springfield store, and it might be the same for a lot of stores, but there's an attic. And I used to go up in the attic. I went up there when I first started and dug around, and I was always amazed at what you could find up here. Because honestly, it's a catch-all for anything and everything that they don't want to throw away or they feel they need to keep. Display shelves, boxed items. There's still box displays up here. There's old unworking clock displays up here. Tents. Just all kinds of crazy stuff. Just sitting here. Unused. Unloved. And unneeded. So, here's something interesting. As I'm wandering around the attic of the Toys R Us. Years ago, I wandered around here when I first started and uncovered a box that actually had an old Laserdisc player in it from when the video game displays were up, and it was for the old TurboGrafx 16 system. It still had a Laserdisc with it. And wandering around here today, I found another one, which there's an old Pioneer Laserdisc player, just like the one I bought years ago for like $3. I'm gonna leave this one here because it's probably where it needs to stay. Just kind of cool, kind of interesting to see after all this time that there's another Laserdisc player hiding out up here that just got unburied. So the stuff that's left up here is mind-boggling. I mean, old security cases that just are never used, that we used to use for PC games. Once upon a time, Toys R Us sold PC games. Paperwork from years and years past, sitting here. A sign, do not move or mess with. It's strange to see. A Guitar Hero display. I mean, just odds and ends and boxes full of filters and old chest forms for clothes and just a massive array of stuff that should have been thrown out a long time ago, and here's where it'll stay until whoever buys this building decides to pull it all out and pitch it. So, while I was leaving the attic, I found a blue tub full of RCA cords, and when I ran the R-Zone, we had to come up with a way to wire all the TVs together before Toys R Us could figure out what they wanted to do. And we had At one point we had like 15 display TVs, the old like Disney TVs and stuff hooked up. And I came up with this ingenious idea of like routing everything through RCA cables and converter boxes, and I found this tub. I don't know if you can see it. Full of old RCA cables. That was probably from when I wired all that and they saved it all. But I mean, just the fact that, I mean, look at that. That is, yeah, that is every bit of, and here's the converter box. There's the converter box that I used to wire it all. That's how we had to do that back in the day. So I'm sweating. Kind of cool to see. Kind of cool to find up here. Very interesting. It's funny they kept it instead of just throwing it all out because they didn't need it anymore. That's what a lot of this stuff up here is, just stuff that they didn't need anymore and they just kept. And now who knows what will happen to it. Liquidation company will get rid of it all. Or throw it away. Who knows? One of my greatest memories of Toys R Us was a Christmas season, and we had worked the night before Christmas Eve, and we had Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off, and we were on overnights. It was both assistant managers, all of the managers. We were hustling to get things done, and at lunchtime that night, the assistant manager decided to requisition tons of laser tag sets that we had on the shelf, and we turned out all the lights, and for 40 minutes all of us ran through the store playing laser tag, through the aisles, through the main center aisle, through the back room. It's striking to have these memories and then to walk through a store that empty and remember everything that went into putting things on the shelves and putting things out. Christmas time, bulk stock, overstocks, just all of this stuff. And then now it's time has come. Its time has ended. I found a lone Jeffrey in the back room, one of the offices, and that seemed to be their mascot for the end. This lone little Jeffrey stuffed toy, just sitting there, watching everything happen. And then the old break room. We used to have a TV in here, and we used to watch Jerry Springer all the time. We used to eat at the tables. There used to be more. Now there's just one. Empty vending machines, empty soda machine, carts of stuff just sitting here. And the store number, 6003. A number I'll never forget for the rest of my life, as that was my Toys R Us, 6003. And I'll miss it. I had to take a stop on the way out and take one last picture with Jeffrey the giraffe. So that's it. That's all that's left of store I worked at for almost 10 years. A store I grew up with, you know, as most of us did, going to Toys R Us in our childhoods, taking our children to Toys R Us, some of us taking our grandchildren to Toys R Us. And the sad part is that this really is the end of an era, and it's a little sad, it's a little upsetting. As I stood at the end talking to my manager friend, and we were kind of discussing, the memories just started to flow back, and it started to get really really emotional in there. As I mean, I worked there when I met Dave Draper, who's my best friend in the world. I worked there when my wife and I started dating, and when we got married, I worked there. I mean, it's been a big part of my life, and even though I haven't bought new toys in a long time, I've kind of phased those out for vintage, I still stopped in every once in a while, and I still shopped around, and I still looked around, and every once in a while I'd buy a Transformer or something that caught my eye, and just to go around in the back, you know, in the old break room, in the meeting room, in the offices, and just kind of to go around and relive some of those memories was really tough. Really tough. I will truly miss this company and this store. I'm truly sad for the kids that'll never get to experience it, and for those of us that loved it that'll never get to see it again. On that note, I did buy some stuff. I had to make one last purchase. I'm not a Pops guy, but I mean, for 80% off, there wasn't a lot to choose from, so I bought Rita and Zordon from the last Power Ranger movie that came out. And then I found something in the bottom of a bin that I thought was very fitting, that I thought was encapsulated how I felt. I don't even have an iPhone, but I bought an iPhone cover. And I thought what was on the iPhone cover, I figured it was appropriate. Game over, guys. So gang, do me a favor. Cherish your toys, cherish your childhood, cherish your children's childhood. Play, imagine, love, and explore. And always, always, please, keep playing with your toys. Till next time, guys.